My beloved child, listen to me closely. This is not a message you stumbled upon by accident. This is not noise among many voices. This is a warning issued in love, and it is time-sensitive. I am speaking now because the hour calls for attention. Something is shifting around you, and something is stirring within you. You have felt it. You have sensed that quiet pressure in your spirit, that gentle but persistent nudge that says, "Do not delay." That is my voice. I do not raise alarms to frighten you. I speak warnings to protect you. When a loving father sees his child walking toward a path that may wound them, he does not remain silent. He calls out. He steps in. He draws near. That is what I am doing for you right now. There is a decision forming in your life. There is a door before you. There is a pattern that must be addressed. And the timing matters more than you realize. You have been telling yourself, there is still time. You have whispered, tomorrow will be better. Next week will be clearer. Soon I will act. But I tell you, my beloved child, the window is narrower than it appears. This is not meant to rush you into fear. It is meant to awaken you into clarity. There are moments in life that carry weight, moments that hold turning points. This is one of them. You may feel uncertainty. You may feel resistance. You may even feel tired. But beneath all of that, there is a knowing. I have placed that knowing inside you. It is the quiet conviction that something cannot stay the same. Something must move. Something must be surrendered or stepped into. You cannot remain in between forever. I see what is ahead. You see only the present. That is why I speak with urgency. Not because disaster is certain, but because blessing is waiting. Protection is waiting. Alignment is waiting. And delay can cost you peace. I am not threatening you. I am guiding you. My warning is not a storm siren. It is a lighthouse. It is light cutting through fog. It is my hand reaching for yours before you drift too far from the shore I have prepared. If you listen carefully, you will notice that my tone is steady. I am not shouting in anger. I am calling in love. This is your moment to pause and truly hear me. Push aside the distractions. Quiet the other voices. Ask yourself why your heart beats a little faster as you listen. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. My beloved child, I am issuing this warning because I cherish your destiny. I value your peace. I desire your protection. The time to respond is not distant. It is now. And as you continue to listen, I will make clear what must be done. My beloved child, I often speak when the world grows quiet. I whisper in the midnight hour, when distractions lose their grip and the noise fades into the background. It is in those tender spaces, when you are alone with your thoughts, when sleep escapes you, when your heart feels unusually heavy, that my voice becomes clearest. Yet you have sometimes mistaken my whisper for your own imagination. You have wondered if it was simply worry, or overthinking, or emotion. But I tell you now, it was me. I do not compete with chaos. I do not force my way through the clamor of hurried schedules and endless scrolling. I wait patiently for the moment your soul becomes still enough to hear. And lately, I have been calling your name more often than you realize. In the quiet car ride, in the sudden pause during your busy day, in that gentle tug that interrupts your routine. I have been there. There is a reason you were drawn to this message at this exact time. It was not random. It was not coincidence. You were led here because your spirit recognized something familiar. My sheep know my voice, and even when you feel uncertain, something inside you leans toward me. That leaning is not weakness. is connection. But understand this, my child. The world is filled with distractions designed to drown out divine urgency. Endless tasks, small crises, opinions of others, even your own doubts. These things pile up like layers of static, making it difficult to distinguish my whisper from the noise. And when my warning comes softly, you may be tempted to dismiss it because it does not arrive with thunder. Yet the most life-changing instructions I give are often the gentlest. Imagine a father sitting beside his child in the dark, speaking softly so as not to startle them. He does not shout unless danger is immediate. Instead, he leans close and says, "Wake up. There is something you need to know." That is how I speak to you now. I am not here to frighten you awake. I am here to lovingly stir you. You have felt restless lately. Perhaps you thought it was stress. Perhaps you blamed circumstances. But part of that restlessness is me adjusting your direction. When a compass needle shifts, it does not make noise, but it changes everything about the journey. I am adjusting your internal compass. My beloved child, I see the path ahead. I see where delay could lead. I see where obedience could lead. And because I love you, I choose to speak before regret has a chance to form. You may not yet see the full picture, but you do not need to. You only need to trust the one who does. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. The midnight whisper can prevent the morning sorrow. The gentle nudge can save years of wandering. When I call, it is because I am protecting what I have placed inside you. Your purpose, your peace, your calling. These are treasures, and I guard them carefully. To lean in closer. Let your heart quiet itself. Ask me to make my voice unmistakable. I am not distant. I am not silent. I am nearer than your next breath, speaking with intention and clarity. This warning you heard in the first stirring of your spirit was not an interruption to your life. It is direction for your life. And as you continue to listen, you will begin to recognize my voice more clearly than ever before. My beloved child, before you allow anxiety to rise in your heart, I need you to understand something clearly. My warnings are never rooted in fear. They are rooted in love. I do not speak to control you. I do not speak to condemn you. I speak to protect you. Everything I say flows from a father's heart that desires your safety, your growth, and your peace. Fear shouts. Love guides. Fear pressures. Love prepares. When I bring a warning, it is not a sentence against you. It is a shield around you. Imagine a parent seeing a small child running toward a busy street. The parent's voice may sound urgent, but the urgency is not anger. It is protection. The warning is not rejection. It is rescue. That is how I am with you. You have lived long enough to know that silence can sometimes be more dangerous than correction. When no one warns you, you walk blindly. When no one speaks truth, you stumble into pain you could have avoided. I refuse to let you walk without guidance. I refuse to let you drift without direction. My love is too intentional for that. Somewhere in your past, you may have experienced warnings that came wrapped in shame. Perhaps someone corrected you with harshness. Perhaps authority in your life felt intimidating or critical. And because of that, when you hear the word warning, your heart tightens. You brace yourself. You expect punishment. But I am not like those voices. When I correct you, it is with gentleness. When I redirect you, it is with compassion. Even my urgency carries tenderness. I see your fragile places. I know your insecurities. I understand the battles you fight silently. I am not here to add weight to your shoulders. I am here to lift burdens before they crush you. There are consequences in life, yes, but consequences are not revenge. They are the natural unfolding of choices. If a farmer plants thorn seeds, thorns will grow. If he plants wheat, wheat will rye. My warning simply points to what seeds you are sowing right now. I am giving you the chance to choose wisely before the harvest comes. You see the mercy in that. I could remain silent and allow you to learn through pain alone. But instead, I step in early. I nudge you before the storm strengthens. I whisper before the door fully closes. I call your attention before regret takes root. That is not fear. That is love in action. My beloved child, even now, as you listen, I want you to feel my calm. My voice does not tremble. My presence does not threaten. I am steady. I am secure. And I am deeply invested in your future. You are not an afterthought to me. You are not one of many forgotten souls. You are seen, known, and cherished. The warning I bring is not about exposing your failure. It is about preserving your destiny. It is about aligning you with the path that leads to life, not confusion. I correct because I care. I guide because I love. I speak because I refuse to let you walk into unnecessary sorrow. So let your shoulders relax. Let your breathing slow. This is not a message of doom. It is a message of divine protection. I am standing beside you, not against you. I am leading you forward, not pushing you away. When you understand that my warning is an expression of my love, you will no longer resist it. You will welcome it. You will recognize that every time I call you back, I am drawing you closer to safety, clarity, and peace. My beloved child, there are moments in your life that carry unusual weight. They do not always look dramatic. They do not always announce themselves with thunder, but they hold within them the power to shift your direction. You are standing in one of those moments now, and this is why I speak with urgency. The window of opportunity before you is narrow. Do not misunderstand me. I am not telling you that hope is fragile or that your future hangs by a thread. I am telling you that timing matters. Just as seasons change, opportunities move. A door that is open today may not remain open forever. A soft heart today can harden with delay. A clear prompting today can become faint if ignored repeatedly. Timing is one of the ways I shape destiny. Think of a farmer who understands the rhythm of the earth. He cannot plant whenever he feels like it. He must plant within the right season. If he waits too long, the soil changes, the weather shifts, the harvest becomes harder. It is not that the land hates him. It is simply that time has moved forward. In the same way, your obedience has seasons. You have sensed that something requires your response. Perhaps it is a conversation you need to have, a habit you must release, a step of faith you have delayed, a decision that has lingered at the edge of your thoughts. You keep telling yourself you will handle it later, but later can quietly become too late. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you. I am not closing doors to punish you. I am guiding you toward doors that lead to life. With some doors open for a specific purpose and for a specific time. If you hesitate too long, you may find yourself standing outside something that was once within reach. My beloved child, delay often disguises itself as caution. You tell yourself you are waiting for clarity. You say you are gathering strength. You claim you need more confirmation. But deep inside, you already know what I have been asking of you. You are not confused. You are hesitant. Hesitation can feel safe, but it slowly drains momentum. It keeps you in a place of almost obedient, almost free, almost healed, and almost is not the life I have prepared for you. I desire fullness for you. I desire movement. I desire peace that comes from alignment. When I say the window is narrow, I am reminding you that opportunity is sacred. Moments of conviction are gifts. They are invitations to step into growth before comfort chains you to familiarity. You cannot remain in between forever. Staying where you are may feel easier today, but tomorrow it may cost you more than you realize. You may wonder, what if I act and I fail? My beloved child, I am not asking you to move alone. When I urge you forward, I go before you. When I open a door, I stand within it. The greater risk is not obedience. The greater risk is ignoring the call and watching the moment pass. Time is not your enemy, but it is always moving. Each day you wake is a fresh mercy, but not every day carries the same invitation. Some days are ordinary. Some days are turning points. This is a turning point. I say this gently but clearly. Do not sleep through this season. Do not numb yourself with distractions. Do not silence the nudge that keeps returning. The window is open now, and as your father, I would rather call you forward with urgency than watch you look back with regret. Step toward what I am showing you. The narrowing window is not pressure. It is precision, and I am guiding you through it with steady hands and unwavering love. My beloved child, there is a quiet danger that does not roar like a storm or shake the ground beneath your feet. It moves softly. It whispers, "Not today. You can do this tomorrow." It feels harmless, almost reasonable. But this quiet danger is spiritual delay. And if left unchecked, it slowly steals the strength of your obedience. Delay rarely looks like rebellion. It looks like hesitation. It looks like waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, the perfect confirmation. You tell yourself you are being wise. You tell yourself you are being careful. But sometimes what you call caution is simply fear dressed in patience. Let me tell you a story. There was once a traveler who needed to cross the sea to reach his destination. The tide was calm, the sky was clear, and the boat was ready. But the traveler hesitated. He wondered if the weather might improve even more. He thought perhaps tomorrow the winds would be even gentler. So he waited. As he waited, clouds slowly gathered. The tide shifted. The once calm waters grew restless. What could have been a smooth crossing became a difficult journey. The opportunity had not disappeared, but the ease of it had. This is what delay can do. It does not always remove the path, but it can make the journey heavier than it needed to be. My beloved child, when I prompt you, it is because I see the calm tide. I see the favorable wind. I see the grace available in this moment. You may not feel ready, but readiness is often born through action, not before it. If you wait until fear completely disappears, you may wait longer than you should. Spiritual delay also dulls your sensitivity. The first time I nudge you, it feels strong and clear. If you ignore it, the second nudge feels softer. Not because I am farther from you, but because your heart has adjusted to the silence. Repeated delay can train your spirit to ignore urgency. And that is not what I desire for you. You were not created to linger in indecision. You were created to walk in trust. When you remain in a place of almost, your energy drains. You feel restless but unmoving. You feel called but stuck. That tension grows heavy over time. And the longer you delay, the more complicated simple obedience begins to feel. I do not say this to shame you. I say this to free you. There is still time. The tide has not fully turned. The boat is still near the shore. But I am inviting you to move before resistance grows stronger. Delay can also affect your peace. When you know what you should do but refuse to do it, an inner friction forms. You may not speak of it, but you feel it. It shows up as irritation, as fatigue, as subtle anxiety. That friction is not punishment. It is your spirit longing for alignment. Imagine carrying a small stone in your shoe. At first, it is only mildly uncomfortable. You tell yourself you can ignore it. But as you continue walking, the discomfort grows. What began as minor becomes painful. All it required was a simple pause to remove it. Obedience is often that simple pause. My beloved child, I am not asking you to run. I am asking you to step. One step of faith breaks the power of delay. One act of obedience restores clarity. One decision made in trust shifts your direction. Do not let tomorrow steal what today offers. The grace attached to this moment is enough. Move with me now, while the waters are still calm and the wind is still gentle. My beloved child, if the enemy cannot stop you with fear, he will attempt to slow you with distraction. Distraction is subtle. It does not announce itself as danger. It comes disguised as busyness, entertainment, responsibility, even good intentions. But its purpose is simple: to pull your attention away from the moment that requires your response. You have noticed how quickly your mind fills with other thoughts whenever you begin to consider what I am asking of you. Suddenly, tasks feel urgent. Messages need answering. Small problems demand solving. You tell yourself, I will think about this later. And just like that, the weight of this divine nudge becomes buried under ordinary noise. But my beloved child, not all noise is neutral. Some of it is strategic. There are seasons when distraction increases because breakthrough is near. When you are on the edge of obedience, resistance often rises. Not always in dramatic attacks, but in subtle diversions. You may feel unusually tired when it is time to pray. You may feel unusually busy when it is time to act. You may even question whether this message applies to you at all. That whisper that says this is probably for someone else is not from me. Yes, this is for you. Distraction also works internally. It is not only external noise. It is the voice of doubt that says, what if you are overreacting? It is the comfort of familiar habits that keep you from change. It is the pull toward what feels easy instead of what leads to growth. And because distraction does not feel sinful or dramatic, it is easy to justify. Imagine a gardener tending a small flame in his field. The flame is controlled and purposeful, meant to clear away weeds so that healthier growth can emerge. But as he works, children nearby begin throwing small pebbles, laughing, tugging at his sleeve, asking harmless questions. None of their actions seem dangerous. Yet if the gardener gives them all his attention, the flame may spread beyond control or burn out entirely. What required focus is lost to interruption. In the same way, what I am igniting in you requires attention. Your obedience requires focus. And the more important the step, the more carefully you must guard your attention. You cannot afford to treat this moment casually. The enemy of your destiny is not always open opposition. Often, it is harmless distraction. It is the endless scroll, the unnecessary argument, the temporary pleasure, the constant comparison. These things slowly pull you away from the clarity I am offering. My beloved child, discipline is not punishment. It is protection of focus. You must protect your attention as if it were treasure, because it is. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. Where your energy flows, your life begins to shape itself. If you feel unusually pulled in many directions right now, that is not random. It is because your decision matters. And when your decision matters, resistance grows louder. But hear me clearly. I am greater than any distraction. My voice can rise above the noise if you choose to lean in. Silence the unnecessary. Step back from what drains you. Create space to hear me clearly. Even a few quiet moments with me can restore alignment. You are not too weak to focus. You are not too far gone to hear me. You simply need to choose which voice you will give your attention to. Return your focus to me, my beloved child. Let my words rise above the static. What I am speaking right now is too important to let it be silenced by distraction. My beloved child, I know the feelings you have been carrying. You have tried to explain them away. You have blamed stress, circumstances, other people, even yourself. But beneath all of that, there has been a deeper stirring, a restlessness that will not fully settle, a quiet tension that follows you even in moments that should feel peaceful. That stirring is not confusion. It is not abandonment. It is me moving within you. You have sensed that something is shifting. Things that once satisfied you no longer feel the same. Conversations that once felt easy now feel heavy. Habits that once felt harmless now leave a trace of discomfort. You may have wondered, why can't I just feel content? But contentment is not the same as comfort. And I am not calling you to comfort. I am calling you to growth. Restlessness can feel unsettling, but it is often the first sign of transition. When a seed is buried in the soil, there is a moment when the shell begins to crack. A cracking is not destruction. It is preparation for growth. If the seed could speak, it might say, everything feels tight. Everything feels different. Yet without that breaking, there would be no sprout, no life, no harvest. In the same way, something within you is stretching. I am expanding your capacity. I am loosening old attachments. I am exposing areas that can no longer remain as they were. That discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. You may also have felt waves of emotion that seem stronger than usual. Moments of sudden clarity followed by moments of doubt. A desire to move forward mixed with fear of what forward might require. Do not mistake this emotional intensity for instability. It is the sign of a heart that is being awakened. My beloved child, when I begin to shift a season, the first place you feel it is inside. Before doors open externally, something rearranges internally. Your values begin to refine. Your tolerance for compromise begins to shrink. Your hunger for purpose begins to grow. That internal shift can feel uncomfortable because it disrupts what is familiar. There have been nights when you lay awake longer than usual, replaying thoughts. There have been quiet moments when a single question echoed in your mind. Is this where I am meant to stay? Those questions are not accidents. I am stirring holy dissatisfaction in you. Not because your life is worthless, but because there is more. You have also sensed a subtle urgency, even if you could not name it. A feeling that something requires your attention now, not later. You may have tried to distract yourself from it. You may have sought comfort in routine, but the feeling keeps returning. That is because I am consistent. I do not abandon what I begin in you. Do not fear this transition. Growth often feels like loss before it feels like gain. When you outgrow old spaces, it can feel lonely. When you release familiar patterns, it can feel uncertain. But I am not leading you into emptiness. I am leading you into alignment. Trust what you have been feeling. It is not random emotion. It is divine prompting. It is my spirit nudging you forward, preparing you for what is next. The stirring inside you is proof that you are alive, aware, and being guided. My beloved child, you are not losing your stability. You are stepping into your next level of trust. And the feelings you have been carrying are the early signs that something greater is unfolding. My beloved child, there is a door in your life that has already closed, yet you continue to stand before it. You knock gently at first, then you knock harder. You replay old memories. You imagine different outcomes. You ask yourself what you could have done differently, and part of you still hopes it will open again. But I need you to hear me clearly. Not every closed door is rejection. Some are protection. You have taken the silence of that door personally. You have wondered if you failed. You have questioned your worth. You have even questioned whether I was with you when it shut. But I was there. I saw what you could not see. I understood what you did not yet understand. And when that door closed, it was not to harm you. It was to redirect you. There are seasons that expire even when you are not ready for them to end. Relationships that cannot go where you are going. Opportunities that looked promising but carried hidden weight. Paths that felt comfortable but would have slowly drained your spirit. I closed that door because staying would have cost you more than leaving. Yet I know how difficult it is to let go of what once felt right. You invested your time, your emotions, your hopes. Walking away can feel like admitting defeat. But sometimes surrender is not defeat. It is obedience. Imagine a child trying to open a door that leads into a room filled with unseen danger. The child does not know what waits inside. They only know they want what they see through a small crack. But the father knows more. The father locks the door, even if the child cries in frustration. Not because he enjoys denying them, but because he sees the full picture. That is what I have done for you. My beloved child, clinging to a closed door keeps your hands too full to receive what I am opening ahead. If your focus remains behind you, you will miss what is forming before you. I do not close doors to leave you empty. I close them to guide you toward better alignment. Sometimes you return in your mind to that old place because it feels familiar. Familiarity can feel like safety, but comfort is not always growth. There are doors that once served a purpose but cannot carry you into your next season. Holding on to them only prolongs confusion. You may ask, why did it have to end the way it did? Not every answer is immediate. Some clarity comes with time. But trust this, if I allowed a door to shut, it is because I have prepared something more fitting for your journey. Let your heart release the need to force it open again. Let your hands fall away from the handle. The energy you are using to knock can be redirected toward moving forward. There is dignity in letting go. There is peace in trusting my timing. I am not removing good from your life. I am removing what no longer aligns with where I am taking you. And where I am taking you requires space. Space in your heart. Space in your mind. Space in your schedule. My beloved child, stop knocking on doors I have closed. Instead, turn around and look for the light I have placed ahead. What I am opening for you will not require force. It will require faith. And when the right door opens, there will be peace instead of pressure. Trust me enough to release what is behind you. I am guiding you towards something that does not need to be forced, because it has already been prepared for you. My beloved child, after all the stirring, all the warnings, all the closed doors and restless nights, you may be wondering what exactly I am asking of you. You may expect a long list, a complicated plan, a dramatic leap of faith. But listen closely. I am not asking for 10 steps. I'm asking for one clear step of obedience. You already know what it is. It has crossed your mind more than once. It returns when the noise fades. It surfaces when you are honest with yourself. It may not look grand or impressive. It may even seem small. But small steps, when taken in faith, carry great weight in the spirit. Perhaps it is a conversation you have been avoiding, a truth you need to speak gently but firmly. Perhaps it is an apology that must be offered, not because you were entirely wrong, but because peace matters more than pride. Perhaps it is a habit you must finally release, even if it has been your comfort for years. Or maybe it is a step toward something new, a submission, an application, a commitment, a boundary. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. I am not requiring you to map out your future. I am asking for movement in the direction I have already shown you. Sometimes you hesitate because you think the step is too small to matter. But obedience is not measured by size. It is measured by trust. When a child reaches out to take their father's hand before crossing the street, the act is small, yet it is filled with dependence and trust. That is what I am inviting from you. Do not complicate what I have made simple. My beloved child, stagnation often breaks not with a giant leap but with one decisive action. Momentum begins the moment you move. Peace begins the moment you align. You have been waiting to feel completely ready. But readiness often comes after the first step, not before it. There is also something powerful about immediacy. When you delay obedience, doubt grows louder. But when you act promptly, clarity increases. The longer you wait, the heavier the step feels. The sooner you move, the lighter it becomes. I am not asking you to fix your entire life tonight. I am not demanding perfection. I am inviting faith. One step toward forgiveness. One step toward discipline. One step toward courage. One step toward release. You may fear what that step will change. You may worry about how others will respond. But understand this, your obedience is not about their reaction. It is about your alignment with me. When you align with me, even if others do not understand, you gain something far greater, inner peace. Imagine standing at the edge of a still lake at dawn. The surface is calm, reflecting the sky. When you place your foot into the water, gentle ripples spread outward. One movement creates impact beyond what you immediately see. Your obedience works the same way. It may appear small, but its influence extends further than you know. My beloved child, I am not distant, waiting to judge your response. I am near, ready to strengthen you as you move. When you take that one step, you will discover that I am already holding you steady. You do not need to rush wildly. You do not need to act out of panic. But you must not remain frozen. Take the step I have placed before you. It is the key that unlocks the next season. Trust me enough to move. My beloved child, I must speak plainly with you now, not to frighten you, but to awaken you. There is a cost to ignoring my warning, a punishment sent from my hand, but a consequence that unfolds naturally when alignment is delayed. When you resist what I am asking, you do not stop your life. You only prolong the wilderness. Ignoring my voice does not make it disappear. It simply grows quieter over time. The urgency fades, the conviction softens, and what once felt clear becomes clouded. You may convince yourself that the discomfort has passed, but what has truly happened is that your heart has adjusted to misalignment. And misalignment, left unchecked, slowly steals peace. You may continue forward outwardly, but inwardly you will feel the weight. Sleep becomes restless. Joy becomes forced. Small frustrations grow larger than they should. This is not because I have withdrawn from you. It is because your spirit knows when it is resisting truth. The cost of ignoring this moment is not dramatic disaster. It is subtle erosion. Erosion of confidence. Erosion of clarity. Erosion of spiritual sensitivity. Over time, you may find yourself wondering why things feel harder than they need to be. Why doors seem heavier to push. Why your energy feels divided. My beloved child, I do not desire that for you. When I warn you, it is because I see a smoother path ahead, one that requires courage now but brings peace later. If you refuse to move, you may eventually take the step, but with more resistance, more complication, more fatigue than necessary. Imagine walking with a small stone in your shoe. At first, it irritates you slightly. You know it is there, but you decide to keep walking. With each step, the discomfort increases. A blister forms. What could have been removed in seconds now requires healing. Ignoring the warning did not make the stone harmless. It only increased the pain. In the same way, ignoring this moment does not protect you. It prolongs discomfort. Yet hear me clearly. Even if you have delayed before, grace still stands before you. This is not a message of condemnation. It is an invitation to shorten the wilderness. It is an opportunity to restore alignment now, before erosion deepens. You are not trapped. You are not doomed. But you are responsible for your response. The cost of obedience is temporary discomfort. The cost of delay is prolonged unrest. One leads to growth. The other leads to stagnation. And you were not created to stagnate. My beloved child, let this be the moment you choose differently. Let this be the day you say yes instead of later. I am not asking you to move in fear. I am asking you to move in trust. And as you choose obedience, something shifts immediately. Peace begins to return, clarity sharpens, and strength rises within you. If this warning has stirred your heart, then listen closely, my beloved child. When you sow into this message, you are not giving to a channel. You are helping my light reach souls who are standing in their own midnight hour. Every super thanks, every membership, every seed planted through PayPal becomes oil in the lamp that keeps this word burning across the nations. I have said, give, and it shall be given unto you. And I speak that promise over you now as living truth. When you respond, you are saying, Lord, use me to carry your voice further. Do not miss the holy moment to act. The links are weighing in the description, and the PayPal path stands before you, even in the QR code placed for your obedience. As you give, you water ground you may never see, but heaven records every seed. I will multiply what you release with faith. I will breathe increase upon your generosity. Step into this divine partnership now. Sow boldly, and watch what I do through you. My beloved child, after hearing everything I have spoken, you may feel a quiet ache rising within you. You may be thinking about the times you delayed, the moments you ignored my nudge, the doors you kept knocking on long after they closed. And a whisper may try to tell you that you are behind, that you have wasted time, that others have moved ahead while you remain still. Silence that whisper now. You are not behind in my eyes. Time in my hands is not measured the way you measure it. I am not standing over you with a clock, disappointed at your pace. I see your journey fully. I know the lessons you have learned quietly. I know the battles you fought that no one else saw. I know the strength that was built in hidden places. Nothing has been wasted when it is surrendered to me. But hear me clearly, my beloved child. Grace is not permission to remain stagnant. Grace redeems time, but you must still move forward. Imagine a traveler who took a wrong turn on a long road. The mistake cost him miles and energy. But once he realizes it, he can either sit down in regret or turn the wheel and adjust direction. The time spent on the wrong road cannot be erased, but it does not have to define the rest of the journey. The key is movement. You may feel as though you should be further along in your purpose. You may compare yourself to others and see their progress, but comparison clouds vision. Your path is not theirs. Your timing is not identical. What matters is not where you should be. What matters is whether you respond now. I am not asking you to run ahead and panic to make up for lost time. I'm asking you to take the next right step with confidence. When you align with me, I have the power to accelerate what once felt delayed. Doors can open swiftly. Clarity can return quickly. Peace can settle deeply in a single moment of surrender. The danger is not that you have been slow. The danger would be refusing to move at all. My beloved child, shame tries to freeze you. It tells you that because you hesitated before, you are disqualified now. That is a lie. I do not disqualify those who return to me. I strengthen them. I restore them. I redirect them. Even now, as you listen, something within you is awakening again. A small flame of hope is rising. Do not extinguish it with regret. Let it grow with action. Think of a river that has been blocked by debris. The water does not disappear. It builds pressure behind the obstruction. The moment the blockage is cleared, the flow returns with strength. In the same way, your purpose has not dried up. It hath been waiting for your alignment. When you move, the flow resumes. You are not late. You are not forgotten. But you must choose to move. Let today be the turning point where you release comparison, silence shame, and step forward without looking back. I am not asking for perfection. I'm asking for willingness. I am not demanding speed. I am inviting trust. My beloved child, I stand ready to walk with you, not ahead of you in disappointment, not behind you in frustration. Beside you, steady and faithful. You are not behind. But now you must move. My beloved child, let me tell you a story to help you understand the urgency of this moment. There were 10 travelers waiting for the arrival of someone important. Each carried a lamp to light the way in the darkness. At first, all their lamps were burning brightly. The night seemed calm, and there was no sign of delay. But as the hours passed, the oil inside their lamps began to run low. 5 of them had prepared extra oil. They anticipated that the wait might be longer than expected. The other 5 assumed what they had would be enough. They did not think ahead. They believed the present flame would carry them through. But when the call finally came announcing that the awaited moment had arrived, only those who had oil were ready. The others scrambled in panic, realizing too late that preparation could not be borrowed in that instant. My beloved child, you are holding a lamp right now. The oil represents your readiness, your obedience, your attention to my voice. The warning I have given you is not about fear of darkness. It is about preparation before the moment arrives. When the opportunity comes, you cannot pause life to gather what you neglected to prepare. You may believe you have time to refill later. You may think the flame will last a little longer without attention. But readiness is not built in crisis. It is cultivated in quiet obedience. The small steps I have been asking of you are drops of oil in your lamp. Each act of trust strengthens your ability to respond when the hour comes. There are blessings ahead that require preparedness. There are doors that will open quickly. If your lamp is empty when they open, you may find yourself unready to walk through them. Not because I denied you, but because preparation was ignored. Readiness is not about perfection. It is about attentiveness. It is about staying close to my voice, keeping your spirit alert, refusing to grow careless with what I have entrusted to you. When you ignore the warning, you slowly let the oil run low. When you obey, you refill what keeps your flame steady. You have felt moments where your fire burns strong. Passion for purpose, desire for growth, hunger for alignment. But you have also felt seasons where that flame flickered, where routine replaced intimacy, where distraction replaced devotion. I am calling you back to vigilance. My beloved child, do not assume tomorrow will give you what you neglect today. The wise traveler prepares before the announcement comes. The wise heart responds before urgency becomes crisis. Oil cannot be borrowed at the last second. Faith cannot be manufactured instantly under pressure. Peace cannot be summoned when obedience has been consistently postponed. What you build quietly today determines how you stand tomorrow. I do not tell you this to cause anxiety. I tell you this to empower you. You have the ability right now to refill your lamp. Through one decision, one act of surrender, one moment of courage. You do not need dramatic gestures. You need consistent alignment. When the call comes, and it will come, you will not want to scramble in regret. You will want to stand steady, your lamp burning bright, your heart confident, your spirit prepared. My beloved child, tend to your oil now. Do not wait until the night deepens. The warning I have given you is an invitation to readiness, and readiness is the doorway to peace when the appointed moment arrives. My beloved child, there is a shift happening around you that you cannot fully see, but you can certainly feel. It is subtle, yet undeniable. It is like the air changing before a new season arrives. The temperature adjusts slowly. The light looks different. The wind carries a new scent. You may not have a calendar in your hand, but your senses tell you something is changing. That is what is happening in your spirit right now. You have outgrown certain spaces, even if you have not physically left them yet. Conversations that once entertained you now exhaust you. Environments that once felt comfortable now feel tight. Dreams that once seemed distant are beginning to feel possible, even necessary. This is not restlessness without purpose. It is divine repositioning. When I begin to shift a season, I start from within. I adjust your hunger. I refine your desires. I increase your awareness. What once satisfied you begins to lose its flavor. What once intimidated you begins to stir courage instead of fear. You are not losing stability. You are being prepared for expansion. But understand this, my beloved child, shifts can feel uncomfortable. When foundations are being strengthened, there is movement beneath the surface. When walls are being adjusted, there is dust in the air. You may interpret this discomfort as chaos, but it is not chaos. It is construction. Some of the relationships around you are also feeling the shift. Certain connections feel strained, not because you have become unloving, but because alignment is changing. Not everyone is meant to walk into your next season. Some were assigned to your past season for growth, for lessons, for companionship during a specific chapter. As you rise into a new place, some will naturally fall away. Do not cling to what the shift is gently moving. You cannot carry every past attachment into your future. The more you resist the repositioning, the more tension you will feel. But when you surrender to it, peace begins to replace confusion. You may also sense that your tolerance for compromise is shrinking. Things you once overlooked now trouble you. Habits you once excused now weigh on you. This is not hypersensitivity. It is refinement. I am sharpening your discernment. I am strengthening your boundaries. I am elevating your standards because where you are going requires clarity. There is also a spiritual acceleration happening. You may notice repeated confirmations. Similar messages appearing in different places. Conversations aligning with what I have already spoken to you. This is not coincidence. It is reinforcement. I am layering confirmation upon confirmation so that doubt cannot easily dismiss what I am doing. My beloved child, do not be afraid of this shift. It is not meant to destabilize you. It is meant to align you. When I reposition you, it is because I see something ahead that requires a new stance, a new mindset, a new level of readiness. Think of a chess player carefully moving pieces into strategic positions before the decisive move. Each small adjustment seems insignificant on its own, but together they create victory. I am repositioning you carefully, deliberately, with wisdom you cannot yet fully comprehend. Trust the shift, even if it feels unfamiliar, even if it stretches you, even if it requires letting go. You are not being shaken loose. You are being set in place. My beloved child, something new is forming, and the warning I gave you earlier is part of this divine shift. Respond to it. Align with it. Step into it. Because the season changing around you is not random. It is intentional, and you are at the center of it for a reason. My beloved child, as this shift unfolds, one of the clearest areas where you will feel it is in your relationships. I am gently opening your eyes to see who is meant to walk with you in this next season, and who was only meant for a chapter that has already been written. Not every person who entered your life was meant to stay forever. Some were assignments. Some were lessened. Some were companions for a specific stretch of the road. And some were mirrors, revealing parts of you that needed healing or strengthening. When you misunderstand this, you cling to people out of history instead of alignment. You may have noticed subtle changes. Conversations feel different. Values no longer match as closely. The encouragement you once received has turned into doubt or indifference. Or perhaps you feel a quiet distance growing, even though no major conflict has occurred. That distance is not always a sign of failure. Sometimes it is a sign of transition. My beloved child, I am sharpening your discernment. You are beginning to sense who brings peace into your life and who drains it. You are becoming aware of which voices strengthen your faith and which voices quietly plant confusion. This awareness is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone. It is meant to make you wise. There are relationships that were built on shared comfort, not shared calling. When comfort shifts, those bonds weaken. That does not mean you must respond with anger or resentment. It means you must respond with clarity. You can love people deeply and still recognize that they are not meant to guide your next step. At the same time, I may be revealing to you the value of certain relationships you once overlooked. There are people I have placed near you who carry wisdom, stability, and support. But familiarity sometimes blinds you to their significance. As I refine your perspective, you will begin to see who has been quietly standing beside you with genuine care. You must also examine your own role in your connections. Are you staying in certain spaces because you fear loneliness? Are you tolerating compromise because you do not want to disappoint others? My beloved child, your obedience cannot be governed by the approval of people. When you choose alignment with me, some relationships may naturally adjust. This adjustment does not require harshness. It requires honesty. Boundaries are not rejection. They are protection. When you set a boundary, you are not declaring someone unworthy. You are declaring that your peace and purpose matter. There may also be relationships I am asking you to restore, conversations that were avoided, forgiveness that has been postponed. My warning is not only about letting go, it is also about healing what can still be healed. Discernment helps you know the difference. Think of a gardener tending a vine. He gently removes branches that no longer produce fruit so that the healthy branches can thrive. The removal is not hatred of the branch. It is care for the entire plant. In the same way, I am pruning your connection so that your life can flourish. My beloved child, do not fear what is being revealed. Clarity is kindness. When you see relationships clearly, you are freed from confusion. You are no longer pulled in opposite directions. You are no longer trying to maintain what I am gently adjusting. Trust the refinement. Release what I show you to release. Nurture what I show you to nurture. And walk forward knowing that the relationships meant for your next season will not require you to shrink your obedience or silence your calling. I am aligning your connections just as carefully as I am aligning your steps. My beloved child, there is something small in your life that is not as harmless as you have convinced yourself it is. It is not dramatic. It is not something others may even notice. But you know it. You feel it when it happens. A quiet check in your spirit. A subtle hesitation. A whisper that says, "This does not belong in your next season." It may be a pattern of negative thinking that you return to when you feel tired. It may be a coping habit you use to numb discomfort. It may be procrastination dressed as patience. It may be a compromise that seems minor but slowly weakens your discipline. Whatever it is, you have normalized it. You have said, "It's not that serious. I can manage it." But my beloved child, small doors left open invite larger battles. I am not exposing this habit to shame you. I am revealing it because it is quietly limiting you. It drains energy you need for your calling. It steals focus from your purpose. It keeps you cycling in patterns that feel familiar but never fulfilling. Habits are powerful because they become automatic. You no longer choose them consciously. They choose you. They shape your responses before you pause to think. And over time, what once felt optional becomes almost instinctive. I am asking you to interrupt that instinct. Breaking a habit does not require perfection. It requires intention. It begins with awareness. The next time you feel yourself stepping into that pattern, pause. Do not rush forward automatically. Listen. Acknowledge it. Bring it into the light of my presence. When you bring hidden patterns into the light, their power weakens. You may feel resistance as you consider change. Habits feel safe because they are predictable. Even unhealthy routines can feel comforting simply because they are familiar. But comfort is not always freedom. And I desire freedom for you. Imagine carrying a small chain around your ankle. It is light enough that you can still walk, but heavy enough to slow you down. You have grown used to its weight. You have adjusted your pace around it. But if it were removed, you would realize how much easier movement could be. The habit I am asking you to release is like that chain. My beloved child, do not underestimate the spiritual impact of small obedience. When you choose to say no to what weakens you, you say yes to strength. When you resist one temptation, you build discipline for the next challenge. Every time you choose alignment, you reinforce your identity as someone who walks with me. You are not powerless against this pattern. My strength is available to you. I do not command you to change and then step away. I empower you as you act. You may stumble once or twice. That does not mean you have failed. It means you are learning to walk differently. What matters is your willingness to confront it instead of excusing it. This warning is not about dramatic sin or public failure. It is about refinement. It is about removing what slows you so you can move freely into what I have prepared. Small compromises today can become large obstacles tomorrow. But small acts of obedience today can become powerful foundations for your future. My beloved child, you are stronger than the habit that has held you. You are more disciplined than you believe. And with me beside you, you can break what once felt unbreakable. Take the first step. Interrupt the pattern. Choose differently. And watch how freedom begins, not all at once, but one decision at a time. My beloved child, now that you see the step before you, now that the habit has been revealed and the shift has begun, there is one force that will try harder than anything else to stop you. It is not weakness. It is not lack of ability. It is fear. Fear does not always scream. Sometimes it whispers reasonable thoughts. What if this goes wrong? What if people misunderstand you? What if you lose something important? Fear paints pictures of loss before you even move. It shows you worst-case scenarios and convinces you they are inevitable. And if you are not careful, it will freeze you exactly where you stand. Fear's greatest strategy is paralysis. It would rather keep you still than see you step into growth. It would rather have you comfortable and stagnant than stretched and progressing. When fear grips you, it tightens your chest, clouds your thinking, and magnifies risk while shrinking possibility. But listen to me carefully. Fear is not a sign that you should stop. Often, it is a sign that your step matters. You do not feel fear when nothing significant is at stake. You feel it when movement carries weight. You feel it when change is real. You feel it when obedience requires courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move despite it. My beloved child, I never promised that obedience would feel effortless. I promised that I would be with you. There is a difference. If you wait for fear to disappear completely, you may never move. But if you take my hand and step forward while your heart trembles, you will discover something powerful. Fear loses strength when faced. Imagine standing at the edge of a cold river. The water looks intimidating. You hesitate because you imagine the shock of the first step. But once you enter, once you adjust, you realize you are able to stand. The anticipation was worse than the reality. Fear thrives in anticipation. It weakens in action. You may fear rejection. But what if obedience brings alignment instead? You may fear failure. But what if obedience brings growth you could never gain through safety? You may fear losing control. But what if surrender brings peace deeper than control ever could? Fear often disguises itself as logic. It lists reasons to delay. It reminds you of past disappointments. It suggests that staying where you are is safer than risking movement. But remaining frozen is not safety. It is slow surrender to stagnation. I did not create you to live in constant retreat from your calling. I created you with resilience. I placed strength inside you that you have not yet fully used. When fear rises, it is an opportunity to lean into trust. My beloved child, I do not shame you for feeling afraid. I see your humanity. I understand your vulnerability. But I will not allow fear to dictate your destiny. When you align with me, you are not stepping alone into uncertainty. You are stepping with divine covering. Each time you choose obedience over fear, you build spiritual muscle. You teach your heart that trust is stronger than anxiety. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than hesitation. Fear is trying to freeze you because it senses movement. It senses that you are close to breakthrough. It senses that one step could change everything. So do not interpret fear as a stop sign. See it as a signal that you are on the edge of growth. Take the step anyway, my beloved child. I am already in the water before you. My beloved child, now that you understand the fear that tries to freeze you, I want you to see the other side of obedience. You have heard about the cost of delay. You have felt the weight of hesitation. But there is also a blessing attached to immediate obedience, and it is greater than you imagine. When you move quickly in response to my voice, something shifts instantly within you. Peace begins to settle where tension once lived. Clarity replaces confusion. Strength rises where doubt once whispered. Obedience is not only about changing your circumstances, it transforms your inner world first. There is a quiet joy that comes from alignment. It may not be loud. It may not look dramatic, but it is steady. When you say yes to me, your spirit recognizes that it has returned to its proper place. That recognition brings rest. You may think obedience will cost you comfort, and sometimes it will. But what it gives in return is far greater. It gives you freedom from internal conflict. It frees you from the exhausting debate inside your mind. It releases you from the weight of I know I should, but I haven't. That burden lifts the moment you act. Immediate obedience also builds momentum. When you take one step, the next becomes easier. When you respond quickly once, you strengthen your trust for the next time. Your confidence grows, not because you trust yourself more, but because you see my faithfulness more clearly. Imagine pushing a heavy door that has been stuck for a long time. The first push requires effort, but once it begins to move, even slightly, the resistance decreases. Eventually, the door swings freely. Obedience works the same way. The first act may feel difficult, but it unlocks movement. My beloved child, there is also protection in promptness. When you obey quickly, you avoid complications that delay can create. You avoid misunderstandings that grow in silence. You avoid patterns that deepen when left unchecked. You shorten the path between conviction and peace. Heaven responds to faith in motion, not to perfection, not to performance, but to trust expressed through action. When you move, unseen things begin aligning. Circumstances adjust. Favor shifts. Opportunities reposition. You may not see all of it at once, but obedience sets invisible gears into motion. You often ask me for clarity about the future. Yet clarity often follows obedience, not the other way around. When you take the step I have shown you, the next step becomes visible. Light increases with movement. Stagnation keeps you in partial vision. Immediate obedience also deepens your relationship with me. Each time you respond promptly, you reinforce intimacy. You demonstrate that you value my guidance, and I draw even closer to a heart that trusts me quickly. Do not believe the lie that delay makes you safer. Delay only prolongs uncertainty. Prompt obedience brings peace sooner than you expect. My beloved child, I want you to taste the sweetness of swift surrender. I want you to feel the relief that comes when you stop resisting and start moving. I want you to experience the quiet confidence that follows alignment. There is blessing waiting on the other side of your yes. Not distant blessing, not someday blessing. Immediate blessing in your spirit. Strength in your heart. Calm in your mind. Move quickly when I speak, not in panic but in trust. And you will discover that obedience is not a burden placed upon you. It is a gift that frees you. My beloved child, there are moments in your life when resistance feels heavier than it should. You decide to move forward, and suddenly obstacles appear. You choose to break a habit, and temptation grows stronger. You commit to obedience, and distractions multiply. You may wonder why everything feels more intense the moment you choose alignment. It is because there is a battle you cannot see. Do not be alarmed by this. I do not reveal it to frighten you. I reveal it to strengthen you. There are unseen forces that resist growth, that resist healing, that resist your obedience. When you remain stagnant, they are comfortable. But when you rise, when you align with my voice, movement disrupts what once held you. Resistance is often a sign that your step matters. You must understand this clearly. The struggle you feel does not mean you are losing. It often means you are advancing. When a runner trains their muscles, soreness follows. The soreness is not failure. It is evidence of development. In the same way, spiritual resistance is often evidence of progress. There have been times when you felt sudden discouragement after making a decision to change. Thoughts like, "This is too hard," or "maybe this isn't worth it," entered your mind unexpectedly. But discouragement was not random. It was opposition attempting to weaken your resolve before momentum builds. But hear me now, my beloved child. You are not alone in this battle. I go before you. I stand behind you. I surround you in ways you cannot fully comprehend. What you see is only part of the picture. What I manage on your behalf is far greater than you realize. When you step forward in obedience, I strengthen your position in the unseen realm. You may not see angels guarding you. You may not see obstacles being removed before you reach them. But protection is active. Provision is being arranged. Alignment is being secured. Your obedience activates assistance beyond your vision. Do not interpret difficulty as abandonment. I have not left you to fight alone. I am closer in moments of resistance than in moments of ease. When the pressure rises, my presence is nearer than your next breath. The battle you cannot see is not something you must fear. It is something you must recognize. Awareness prevents confusion. When you know that resistance can accompany growth, you stop being surprised by it. You stop interpreting every challenge as a sign to retreat. My beloved child, courage is not loud. It is steady. It continues forward even when the terrain feels uneven. You do not need to fight aggressively. You need to remain anchored. Stand firm in the decision you made. Refuse to return to what I have asked you to leave. Every time you resist the pull backward, you gain ground forward. Every time you choose alignment again, even after a difficult day, you reinforce your strength. Remember this: the battle you cannot see does not determine the outcome. I do, and I am not threatened by opposition. Stay steady. Stay aligned. Do not let unseen resistance cause visible retreat. You are protected more than you know. And as you continue to move in obedience, what once resisted you will lose its hold. Trust me in the unseen, my beloved child. Victory is often being secured long before you recognize it. My beloved child, I know you sometimes ask for reassurance. Even after I speak clearly, even after you sense my direction, a part of you still wonders, is this really you? That question does not offend me. It reveals your desire to be sure. And because I love you, I often send confirmation after confirmation. Have you noticed the repetition lately? A similar message appearing in different places. A conversation that echoes what I have already whispered to your heart. A passage, a psalm, a thought that aligns perfectly with the step I am asking you to take. These are not accidents woven together by coincidence. They are threads of confirmation. I am patient with your uncertainty. I know that stepping forward requires trust, and trust grows through reassurance. So I speak in more than one way. I confirm through stillness. I confirm through wise counsel. I confirm through circumstances that gently align. I confirm through an inner peace that returns even after doubt tries to interrupt. But there is a difference between seeking confirmation and seeking delay. Confirmation brings clarity. Delay searches endlessly for one more sign. At some point, you must recognize when I have already spoken enough. If the same message keeps appearing, if the same conviction keeps returning, if the same door keeps standing before you, then you are not waiting for clarity. You are waiting for comfort. My beloved child, I do not withhold confirmation to confuse you. I provide it so that fear cannot easily dismiss what I am doing. Yet confirmation is not meant to replace obedience. It is meant to strengthen it. Think of a traveler who sees multiple road signs pointing in the same direction. Each sign reassures him that he is on the right path. But if he keeps stopping at every sign, refusing to move forward until another appears, he will never reach his destination. The signs are there to guide him, not to keep him stationary. In the same way, the confirmations you are receiving are invitations to move, not invitations to hesitate further. You may have prayed for a clear answer, and then when it came, you questioned it. So I allowed it to echo again and again. Not because I am uncertain, but because I know your heart. I know how easily doubt can creep in. I know how quickly fear tries to reinterpret clarity. But now, my beloved child, I am gently asking you to trust what has already been repeated. The pattern is not random. The alignment is not coincidence. The inner conviction is not imagination. When something returns to your spirit consistently, it is often my voice refusing to be ignored. Do not overlook the peace that accompanies these confirmations. Even when fear rises, there is a deeper steadiness beneath it. That steadiness is me anchoring you. You do not need 10 more signs. You do not need a dramatic display. The confirmations you have already received are sufficient. I am not playing games with your future. I am guiding it with intention. And the repetition you see is not pressure. It is persistence born from love. Trust the pattern. Trust the alignment. Trust the voice that keeps returning. My beloved child, I have spoken. I have confirmed. Now it is time to respond. My beloved child, one of the quiet traps that keeps you from moving is the belief that conditions must be perfect before you act. You tell yourself you will step forward when you feel stronger, when circumstances are calmer, when finances are clearer, when emotions are steadier. You are waiting for everything to align externally before you align internally. But perfect conditions rarely arrive. If a farmer waited for flawless weather, for skies without a single cloud and soil without a single stone, he would never plant. There is always some uncertainty in the air. There is always some risk in the ground. Yet planting must happen before harvest can come. In the same way, obedience must happen before clarity fully unfolds. You are looking for guarantees. You want assurance that if you take this step, nothing will go wrong. You want proof that discomfort will be minimal and success will be immediate. But faith does not grow in guarantee environments. It grows in trust. My beloved child, waiting for perfection is often a subtle form of fear. It feels responsible. It sounds wise. But underneath it is the desire to avoid vulnerability. When you wait for ideal circumstances, you delay growth. You postpone breakthrough. You convince yourself that later will be easier, when in truth, later may simply be more complicated. You may think, if I just prepare a little more, I will feel ready. Preparation is good. Wisdom is necessary. But there is a difference between preparation and postponement. Preparation equips you. Postponement paralyzes you. The step I am asking of you does not require flawless timing. It requires willingness. There may still be unanswered questions. There may still be minor obstacles. But the presence of uncertainty does not mean the absence of my guidance. Look at your life. Has there ever been a season completely free of complication? Even in calm moments, there were small concerns. Even in stable times, there were unknowns. If you wait for life without uncertainty, you will wait forever. I am not calling you to recklessness. I am calling you to courageous trust. Imagine standing at the shore of a vast ocean, waiting for every wave to stop before you step into the water. The waves will never completely cease. Movement is part of the nature of the sea. In the same way, uncertainty is part of the nature of growth. You do not eliminate it. You step through it. My beloved child, do not measure readiness by the absence of fear or complexity. Measure it by the presence of conviction. If you know what I am asking, if confirmation has come, if your spirit keeps returning to the same instruction, then you are ready enough. You may stumble slightly as you begin. You may adjust your balance. But I am not waiting at the finish line. I am walking beside you in the process. Perfection is not your requirement. Trust is. Do not allow the illusion of ideal timing to rob you of present obedience. The grace attached to this moment is sufficient. The strength available now is enough. The clarity you need for the next step is already in your hands. Move with what you have. Act with the understanding you possess. Trust me with what you cannot see. My beloved child, the door before you does not require perfect conditions to open. It requires your willingness to knock with faith. My beloved child, there is something I long for you to experience, something deeper than relief and stronger than temporary happiness. It is the peace that follows obedience, not the fragile calm that depends on circumstances, but the steady stillness that settles into your spirit when you align with me. You have tasted glimpses of this before. Moments when you finally made the decision you had been postponing. Moments when you spoke the truth you had been holding back. Moments when you released what I asked you to release. In those moments, even if the situation around you did not immediately change, something inside you shifted. That shift is peace. Obedience does not always remove external challenges instantly. Conversations may still be difficult. Adjustments may still require effort. But the internal conflict fades. The constant debate in your mind quiets. The tension between conviction and hesitation dissolves. You are no longer divided within yourself. Division inside you is exhausting. When part of you wants to obey and another part resists, you feel drained. You replay scenarios. You imagine outcomes. You wrestle with possibilities. That inner wrestling steals energy from your joy. But when you decide, when you step forward, the wrestling ends. My beloved child, peace is not the absence of responsibility. It is the absence of resistance. There is a quiet strength that enters your spirit when you say yes to me. It may not be dramatic. It may not be visible to others. But you feel it. It allows you to sleep more deeply. It steadies your breathing. It restores your confidence. You may think peace comes after everything works out perfectly. But often, peace comes immediately after obedience, long before results are visible. That is because peace is rooted in trust, not outcome. Imagine carrying a heavy bag for a long journey. You adjust your posture to accommodate the weight. You convince yourself you can manage it. But when you finally set it down, your body relaxes. Your shoulders lower. Your steps feel lighter. The journey may not be over, but the burden has shifted. Obedience is like setting down that bag. You stop carrying what was never meant to remain in your hands. My beloved child, the warning I gave you was not meant to burden you. It was meant to guide you into this peace. I do not enjoy seeing you wrestle internally. I do not delight in your hesitation. I desire your rest. Peace also strengthens your discernment. When you are aligned, you hear me more clearly. Doubt has less room to distort truth. Fear loses its grip. You become more stable in your decisions because you are no longer driven by avoidance or anxiety. Even if others question your choice, even if they do not understand your step, you will feel anchored. Their opinions may swirl, but your spirit will remain calm. That calm is not arrogance. It is alignment. My beloved child, I want you to crave this peace more than comfort, more than approval, more than temporary ease. Because peace confirms that you are walking in step with me. Take the step. Release the delay. Break the habit. Close the door I have closed. And watch how peace rises like gentle light within you. You were never meant to live in constant inner conflict. You were created to walk in steady trust. Obedience opens the door, and peace walks in. My beloved child, now let me show you the other side of this moment. You have heard about the warning. You understand the cost of delay. You have felt the call to obedience. But what happens if you act today? What unfolds if you choose not tomorrow, not next week, but now? When you act today, you interrupt the cycle that has been quietly holding you back. Patterns that have repeated for months, perhaps years, begin to lose their grip. The moment you decide differently, you step out of repetition and into renewal. There is a divine acceleration that accompanies willing obedience. Not always loud, not always immediate in visible way, but real. When you move, unseen alignments begin to shift. Conversations you feared may open gently. Opportunities you thought were distant may come closer. Strength you doubted you had rises within you. You may not see fireworks. You may not hear applause. But you will feel movement. Imagine a river that has been blocked by fallen branches. The water builds pressure behind the obstruction. It looks stagnant from the surface. But the moment the blockage is removed, the flow resumes with strength. Acting today removes what has been obstructing your flow. My beloved child, there are blessings waiting on your obedience. Not because I am withholding them to test you, but because alignment positions you to receive what I have already prepared. When you step forward, you step into readiness. Acting today also sends a message to your own spirit. It declares that you are no longer ruled by hesitation. It tells fear that it does not control you. It reminds doubt that it does not decide your future. There is power in a decisive yes. You may be surprised at how quickly clarity follows action. Questions that felt overwhelming begin to simplify. The fog that clouded your thinking starts to lift. Peace, which once felt distant, settles in gently. Acting today does not mean you will never face challenges again. Growth always brings new levels of responsibility. But those challenges will meet a stronger version of you. A version that has chosen trust over delay. My beloved child, when you act today, you also redeem time. What felt lost begins to feel restored. Momentum replaces stagnation. Even if you moved slowly before, one decisive step can shift the pace of your journey. There is also a ripple effect. Your obedience influences more than just your own life. Others who are watching quietly will be strengthened by your courage. Your decision may inspire someone else to confront their own hesitation. You may not even know the impact, but it will be real. You have been waiting for a sign that it is the right moment. This is that sign. Today carries grace that tomorrow does not guarantee. Today carries clarity that delay can blur. Today carries strength that grows when used. Do not underestimate what can change in a single day. Entire seasons shift because of one courageous choice. Entire futures are redirected by one act of surrender. My beloved child, if you act today, you will not step into emptiness. You will step into alignment. And alignment brings peace, strength, and movement. The door before you is not locked. It is waiting. Act today, and watch how the path begins to open beneath your feet. My beloved child, there comes a moment when you must do more than simply understand my warning. You must make a declaration within your own heart. You must break agreement with delay. Delay is not just an action. It is an agreement. It is a quiet partnership with hesitation. Each time you say, later, you reinforce a pattern. Each time you postpone obedience, you strengthen that partnership. And over time, delay begins to feel natural, even justified. But today, I am inviting you to end that agreement. You do not break agreement with delay by condemning yourself. You break it by choosing differently. You break it by saying, I will not allow fear, comfort, or distraction to dictate my obedience any longer. A declaration may be quiet, but it is powerful. My beloved child, words carry weight. What you repeatedly tell yourself shapes your direction. If you continually say, I am not ready, you will live as if readiness is always out of reach. If you continually say, it is not the right time, you will miss moments that were appointed. But if you say, with God's help, I move now, your spirit begins to align with courage. Breaking agreement with delay requires honesty. You must admit where you have hidden behind excuses. You must recognize where procrastination has felt safer than action. This is not to shame you. It is to free you. Imagine signing a contract without realizing its terms. The contract promises comfort, but it slowly robs you of growth. To break that contract, you do not need anger. You need awareness and decision. You simply say, I no longer agree with these terms. Delay has offered you temporary comfort, but it has also offered stagnation. It has offered you avoidance, but it has also offered unrest. It has promised safety, but it has delivered frustration. My beloved child, you were not created to live in cycles of postponement. You were created for movement. When you break agreement with delay, you will feel resistance at first. Old patterns will attempt to pull you back. Familiar excuses will rise quickly, but your declaration will weaken them. Every time you follow through on a small act of obedience, you reinforce your new alignment. Do not underestimate the spiritual authority of your decision. When you say yes to me and no to delay, you shift something in the unseen realm. You close doors that once felt open. You dismantle patterns that once felt permanent. You may wonder if you have the strength to maintain this change. Strength grows through repetition. Each act of courage makes the next easier. Each moment of obedience builds momentum. Breaking agreement with delay does not mean you will never hesitate again. It means hesitation will no longer rule you. It means when you feel the pull to postpone, you will recognize it and choose differently. My beloved child, say it within your heart now, I release delay. I choose obedience. Let that declaration settle into your spirit. Let it reshape your posture. Let it strengthen your resolve. You are not bound to your past patterns. You are not obligated to repeat yesterday's hesitation. Today, you step into a new agreement. An agreement with trust. An agreement with movement. An agreement with alignment. And as you break agreement with delay, you step closer to the freedom that has been waiting for you all along. My beloved child, never underestimate the power of a single yes. You may think your obedience must be grand to matter. You may believe that only dramatic sacrifices or visible achievements count in the unfolding of destiny. But I tell you the truth, one sincere yes, spoken from a willing heart, can redirect the course of your life. History is shaped by moments that looked small at the time. A quiet decision, a private surrender, a courageous response that no one else saw. The world may not notice when you say yes to me, but heaven does. And more importantly, your spirit does. When you say yes, something inside you aligns. The struggle between conviction and comfort ends. The tension between fear and faith begins to resolve. You stop arguing with my instruction and start walking with it. A single yes is powerful because it shifts your posture. Instead of resisting my guidance, you receive it. Instead of questioning whether you can trust me, you demonstrate that you do. That shift changes everything. You may think it is only one small decision, but that one decision becomes a doorway. Through it comes growth. Through it comes clarity. Through it comes peace. Every larger transformation in your life begins with one surrendered moment. Imagine a vast landscape with many paths. At crossroads you pause. The choice may look simple, even insignificant, but the direction you choose determines the scenery ahead. A single step changes the trajectory. In the same way, your yes determines where you walk next. My beloved child, do not wait until you feel extraordinary courage. Courage often arrives after the yes, not before it. When you speak your yes, you activate strength you did not realize you carried. You discover that obedience is not as heavy as you feared. There is also a ripple effect in your yes. It strengthens your identity. Each time you choose alignment, you reinforce the truth that you are capable of obedience. You are not weak. You are not powerless. You are responsive to my voice. Your yes also deepens intimacy with me. It builds trust between us. When you respond willingly, you grow more confident in my guidance. You begin to recognize that my instructions are not burdens, but blessings. Do not let overthinking rob you of simplicity. You do not need to analyze every possible outcome. You do not need to predict every detail. You need only to trust that I see beyond what you see. A single yes may lead to conversations you never imagined. It may lead to opportunities you once believed were out of reach. It may lead to healing in places you thought were permanently broken. But none of that unfolds without the first surrender. My beloved child, the power of your yes is not in its volume. It is in its sincerity. Even if your voice trembles, even if your hands shake, even if your heart beats quickly, a whispered yes is enough. You do not need to understand everything to say yes. You need only to trust the one who understands it all. Speak your yes. Live your yes. And watch how one surrendered moment becomes the turning point you have been waiting for. My beloved child, as you stand in this turning point, I want you to understand something deeply. You were not placed in this moment by accident. You were chosen for it. The challenges you face, the decisions before you, the warning you received, all of it intersects with who you are becoming. You sometimes look at your life and see randomness. You see missed opportunities, unexpected detours, delays you cannot explain. But I see preparation. I see lessons learned through difficulty. I see strength forged in quiet battles. I see resilience built through seasons when you thought nothing meaningful was happening. Nothing hath been wasted. Even your mistakes have shaped your discernment. Even your disappointments have refined your expectations. Even your delays have taught you the discomfort of stagnation. All of it has brought you to this precise moment where obedience now carries greater weight because you understand what hesitation costs. You may feel unqualified. You may think, someone stronger could handle this better. But I did not choose someone else. I chose you. Not because you are flawless, but because you are willing. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are learning to trust. Think of a craftsman carefully shaping a tool for a specific purpose. The tool does not understand the shaping process. It only feels the pressure, the carving, the refinement. But the craftsman sees the final use. In the same way, I have shaped you for this season. The experiences that confused you were forming capacity. The hardships that stretched you were building endurance. My beloved child, you are not stepping into something foreign. You are stepping into something you have been prepared for. The warning I issued was not random. It aligns with the growth you have already experienced. You are not the same person you were years ago. You have greater awareness, deeper faith, stronger discernment. The step before you would have overwhelmed the former version of you. But the current version is ready. Do not diminish your growth simply because it happened quietly. You may not have celebrated every victory. You may not have recognized every breakthrough. But I have seen them. I have walked with you through each one. There is also purpose attached to this moment beyond what you see. Your obedience will not only shape your own path, it will influence others. There are people connected to your decision whom you may never fully realize. When you move, you open doors for them. When you trust, you model courage. You were chosen not because this moment is easy, but because it matters. And you are capable of meeting it. My beloved child, lift your eyes from self-doubt. Stop measuring your worth against others. You do not need their timeline. You do not need their abilities. You have what you need for what I have assigned to you. This moment is not here to expose your weakness. It is here to reveal your readiness. Stand firm in that truth. You are not misplaced. You are not late. You are not unprepared. You were chosen for this moment. And I would not have brought you to it if I had not already equipped you to walk through it. My beloved child, as you prepare to step fully into this new alignment, there is one more thing I must gently ask of you. Release what is weighing you down. You cannot move freely while carrying unnecessary burdens. Some of what you hold is not part of your assignment. Some of it is old regret. Some of it is guilt that I have already forgiven. Some of it is disappointment that has quietly shaped your expectations. And some of it is the opinions of others that you were never meant to carry. You have grown used to the weight. You have adjusted your pace around it. You have convinced yourself that this heaviness is simply part of life. But I did not design you to walk bowed under invisible loads. Regret is one of the heaviest burdens you carry. You replay past decisions. You imagine how life might look if you had acted differently. You tell yourself that if you had been braver sooner, wiser earlier, more obedient in the past, you would be further ahead now. But dwelling on what cannot be changed only steals strength from what can. My beloved child, I am not asking you to deny your past. I am asking you to release its hold over your present. Guilt also clings to you at times. Even after you have asked for forgiveness, you continue to punish yourself internally. You hesitate to move forward because you feel unworthy of progress. But if I have forgiven you, why do you continue to hold yourself captive? You must learn to accept my mercy as fully as you accept my guidance. There are also emotional attachments that have become weights. Words spoken over you years ago that still echo. Labels that were never true but shaped your self-perception. Criticism that planted doubt in your heart. These are not truths you must carry into your next season. Imagine trying to run while holding heavy stones in your hands. You may manage a few steps, but your speed and stamina are limited. When you finally drop the stones, your body feels lighter. Movement becomes easier. The path ahead feels less exhausting. Releasing does not mean forgetting. It means refusing to let past pain dictate present obedience. My beloved child, forgiveness is part of release. Forgiving others does not excuse what they did. It frees you from carrying the resentment. Forgiving yourself does not erase responsibility. It allows growth without shame. You may fear that if you release the weight, you will lose control. Sometimes burdens feel like reminders that keep you cautious. But burdens are not wisdom. They are weight. Wisdom can remain without the heaviness. I am inviting you to place these burdens into my hands. Not symbolically, but intentionally. Acknowledge them. Name them. And then let them go. You cannot step boldly into your calling while clutching what belongs to yesterday. My beloved child, I am not only guiding your next step, I am strengthening your shoulders. But strength is most effective when it is not burdened by what should have been released. Let go of regret. Let go of guilt. Let go of labels and disappointments. Walk lighter. The future I am leading you into requires freedom of movement. And freedom begins when you release what was never meant to travel with you this far. My beloved child, after everything I have spoken, everything I have revealed, everything I have stirred within you, we arrive at this simple truth. The urgency is now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel slightly more prepared. Not when circumstances look calmer. Now, there is something sacred about the present moment. It is the only place where obedience can happen. The past is finished. The future is unwritten. But now, this breath, this decision, this stirring in your heart, is alive with possibility. You have felt urgency before and brushed it aside. You have said, I will think about it. You have postponed small convictions until they faded into the background. But this moment carries weight because you have heard my voice clearly. You have received confirmation. You have felt the shift. You know what I am asking. Urgency is not panic. It is precision. When a watchman sees the dawn breaking, he does not ignore it because night feels familiar. He responds because he recognizes the change of hour. In the same way, you must recognize the hour of your own life. This is not a season of drifting. It is a season of decisive movement. My beloved child, delay has already taken enough time. You do not need another week of internal debate. You do not need another month of quiet conviction without action. Each time you postpone what you know is right, you train your heart to tolerate misalignment. But when you act promptly, you train your spirit to trust quickly. There is grace attached to this moment that is specific to this moment. The strength you feel right now, the clarity that is present, the courage stirring within you, these are not accidental. They are provision for obedience. If you wait too long, you may find yourself needing to rebuild what is currently strong. The urgency of now is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to awaken you. Imagine standing at a crossroads with a gentle wind at your back, nudging you forward. The path is visible. The light is clear. If you hesitate too long, the wind may calm. The light may shift. The opportunity will not vanish completely, but the ease of movement may lessen. My beloved child, this is your wind at your back moment. You do not need dramatic gestures. You need decisive steps. Make the call. Set the boundary. Release the habit. Have the conversation. Take the action that has lingered in your thoughts for too long. You will not regret obedience. You may regret delay. Now is the hour where fear can be silenced. Now is the hour where procrastination loses its voice. Now is the hour where you step fully into alignment. Do not overcomplicate it. Do not wait for another confirmation. You have received enough. This is the sacredness of now. It is the doorway between intention and action. It is where faith becomes movement. My beloved child, step through the doorway. The urgency is not because I am impatient. It is because your peace is waiting on the other side of this decision. Now is your moment. My beloved child, after all the urgency, after the warning, after the call to move now, I want to anchor your heart in this. I do not ask for your trust without offering my promise. When I call you forward, I go before you. You may not see every detail of the path ahead. You may not know how each step will unfold. But I see it. I know where the ground is firm and where it is uneven. I know where obstacles try to hide. And I position myself ahead of you, preparing what you cannot prepare on your own. If you trust me in this moment, I promise you my presence will not waver. There will be days when your courage feels strong, and days when it feels thin. There will be moments when clarity shines brightly and moments when questions resurface. But my faithfulness is not dependent on your emotional consistency. I remain steady. I promise provision, not always in the form you expect, but in the form you need. When you release what I ask you to release, I will not leave you empty-handed. When you close a door in obedience, I will guide you toward another. When you let go of comfort, I will supply strength. I promise protection. This does not mean you will never face difficulty. It means difficulty will not destroy you. It means opposition will not overcome you. It means that what was meant to break you will instead build you. I promise restoration. If you feel you have lost time through delay, I am able to redeem it. If you believe you have missed opportunities, I am able to open new ones. If regret lingers in your memory, I am able to transform it into wisdom. My beloved child, trust is not blind when it is placed in me. It is anchored. It is secure. Imagine a child learning to walk across uneven ground while holding their father's hand. The ground may shift slightly. The child may stumble for a moment. But the father's grip prevents a fall. The child's confidence grows not because the terrain is perfect, but because the hand is firm. That is how I walk with you. You may worry about what others will say. You may fear the unknown reactions that follow your obedience. But my approval outweighs every human opinion. When you trust me, you align with a voice that does not change with trends or moods. There will also be joy ahead. Not shallow excitement, but deep fulfillment. The kind that comes from knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be. That joy is not fragile. It is rooted in alignment. My promise is not that life will become effortless. My promise is that you will not walk alone. Trust me with your next step. Trust me with your uncertainty. Trust me with your fear. Trust me with your release. I am not leading you into confusion. I am leading you into clarity. I am not guiding you toward loss. I am guiding you toward growth. My beloved child, if you trust me now, you will look back one day and see that this moment was a turning point, and you will know that my promise carried you through. My beloved child, We have walked through the warning, the urgency, the release, the promise. Now we arrive at the final call. This is where thought must become action. This is where intention must become movement. You have listened. You have reflected. You have felt conviction rise and fall within your heart. But listening alone will not change your direction. Reflection alone will not break old patterns. Understanding alone will not open new doors. Action will. I am not asking you to overhaul your entire life in 1 hour. I am asking you to take the clear step I have already shown you. You know what it is. It hath been present from the beginning of this message. It has resurfaced repeatedly as you listen. That is not coincidence. That is clarity. Do not dilute this moment by overanalyzing it. Do not quiet the conviction with another excuse. Do not convince yourself that tomorrow is more suitable. Tomorrow is simply another version of today, and if you delay now, you will likely delay then. My beloved child, there is a line drawn in your heart right now. On one side is familiar hesitation. On the other side is obedient movement. You cannot stand on the line forever. You must choose a side. Choosing obedience does not mean you feel no fear. It means fear does not make the decision for you. Choosing obedience does not mean every detail is visible. It means you trust the one who sees what you cannot. You may wonder how to begin. Begin simply. If it is a conversation, set the time. If it is a habit, remove the trigger. If it is a step of faith, send the message, submit the application, make the call. If it is forgiveness, speak it in prayer and release it intentionally. Do not wait for emotion to align perfectly. Emotions often follow action. Peace often follows courage. Strength often follows surrender. You have been preparing for this moment throughout this entire message. Your spirit has been stirred. Your awareness has sharpened. Your heart has softened. Now is the time to respond. I am not pressuring you. I am inviting you. But understand this, invitations do not remain open indefinitely. Moments pass. Windows narrow. The grace attached to now is meant to be used now. My beloved child, do not allow this message to become another memory of something you felt but did not follow through on. Let it become the moment you change direction. Let it become the day you stop postponing. Let it become the turning point. Stand up in your spirit. Decide firmly. Speak your yes again, and then move. I am with you in the step. I am with you in the consequence. I am with you in the unfolding. This is your final call within this warning. Not harsh, not condemning. Clear. Choose obedience. Choose alignment. Choose movement. And take the step now. My beloved child, you have walked with me through every word of this message. What began as a warning has now become a promise. What felt urgent has revealed itself as love. What sounded serious has uncovered protection. I did not speak to alarm you. I spoke to align you. The warning was never about fear. It was about guarding your peace. It was about positioning you for what is ahead. It was about preventing regret and inviting restoration. And now, as you stand at the edge of obedience, I want you to feel my heart clearly. I am proud of you for listening. You did not turn away from conviction. You did not silence the stirring. You stayed. You heard me. And that alone shows your desire to grow. Remember this always. My corrections are kindness. My urgency is mercy. My instructions are invitations into deeper peace. I do not shout because I am angry. I call because I love. As you step forward from this moment, May clarity guard your mind. May courage strengthen your heart. May peace settle over your decisions like calm over still water. May every act of obedience you take from this day forward bring alignment, confidence, and rest. If fear rises again, remember my promise. If doubt whispers, remember the confirmations. If hesitation returns, remember this moment. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not walking blindly. You are guided. Now I bless your steps. I bless your home. I bless your relationships. I bless the work of your hands and the intentions of your heart. May favor meet you as you move. May protection surround you as you trust. May restoration find you where delay once lingered. This warning has turned into a doorway. Walk through it with peace. And now, my beloved child, as this message has reached your heart, I call you into partnership with me. When you sow into this word through Super Thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link waiting in the description, and even in the QR code before you, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a river of light that reaches souls standing in urgent need. I have declared that when you cast your bread upon the waters, it returns multiplied, and I speak that living promise over you now. When you respond, you are saying, Lord, use my seed to carry your voice further. Do not let this holy moment pass. What you release becomes oil that keeps this flame burning across nations. As you give, I will breathe increase upon your household. As you act, I will honor your obedience. Step into this divine exchange now. Sow with faith, and watch how I move through your generosity. Walk forward in peace, my beloved child. Amen.